This video is sponsored by DecalWorks, offering 10% off all graphics to retail customers. Use the promo code RX10 at decalmx.com to receive 10% off your graphics.
Hey guys and gals, welcome in. I am Kris Keefer. Welcome to RacerXOnline.com, and this is Garage Builds, where we bring cool backstories, like this tall kid right here, and of course, cool looking bikes. 2021 KTM 125 modified little machinery right here. We're gonna break this sucker down, get some information back to you guys, how this thing rides. But first things first, let's go over this bike. So I have my phone right here. You guys can see the shroud, Chad at XPR. If you're not familiar with Chad at XPR, he is the guy behind the Chaparral Honda team. He does those engines. He is the guy behind the Smart Top Bullfrog Spas Honda team. That's a lot to say, but I nailed it. He does their engine, so Tony Alessi relies on Chad. And if you guys know Tony Alessi, whew, if he trusts Chad, then you know it's pretty good. So we got him on a two-stroke build. This is Jaxon Pascal. I met Jaxon a while back in Colorado. He was riding his 85, and he forgot his boots, and he needed to borrow some boots. So that's how I met him. We grew up a little bit. My son and him grew up together. They ride, they race. But Jaxon is on the amateur national motocross circuit. Us Keefers, we're new to this thing. This is only our second year in. So I thought it would be cool to see what it is like to have an amateur kid with a built 125 KTM to see exactly what these kids need to be competitive. Now, of course, not everyone needs a modified 125, right? You're a soul rider. There's a lot of you guys out there watching this. Soul riders don't need a modified bike. But if you're racing amateur motocross, you need a fast engine to get you out of the gate. So Jaxon, you've been on a 125 for a while. You were on a stock bike for a while. Yep. Why did your dad said, you know what, we're going to get you a modified bike, and we went to Chad? So what was the big reason?
So I would say the biggest thing is I'm a big kid. I'm 6'2", and I'm only 16. So the biggest thing I would say was starts. I'm 160 pounds. Most kid I'm racing are 120, 130. So I'm losing about 30 pounds, a lot of torque, a lot of horsepower. So with this built bike, I can get out of the gate quicker, as well as get out of some of the turns a lot quicker, where most of the kids, when they're light, they can get out of the corners and starts a lot better than I am.
So Jaxon had a previously built engine from another company, but we decided, you know, let's give you a different flavor. So we gave him the Chad over at XPR, and I want him to see, and me, of course, what this thing can do on the track. It's been a while since I rode a 125. I think last time I rode a 125 was last year for another garage build that we did, and it was modified, and I had a great time. So we're going to get this big kid and me. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get on the track here at Glen Helen Raceway, ring this sucker out, rail some outsides, and really see what this bike can do in the amateur world. But first thing I want to ask you, you haven't ridden this bike yet.
Nope.
This thing's been sitting for a while.
Yep.
How excited are you to look at this bike and then know that you're about to ride a modified 125 that could just blow your mind?
I'm really excited. I think I'm going to have a great time. Man, this thing's going to be fun to rip, especially around Glen Helen.
Do you have a backup plan, just in case motocross doesn't work? Just put you on the spot. That means no. See you guys back here in a little bit. All right, guys, just got done. 2021 KTM 125 XPR build for Jaxon. I rode it. There's some clips of there in this video, probably me riding. It is not good.
Not a big two-stroke guy over here.
Not a big two-stroke guy over here, but it is faster than what I rode previously about a couple months ago. So a couple things I have noted on my phone that Chad did. He ported the cylinder, did a power valve mod, a VHM head, Vertex Piston, V-Force reeds, and of course something different that you guys, especially here in the States, may not know about is the HGS pipe and silencer. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We're running MRX02 fuel. It requires that, and of course it has a different jetting spec that is written on the carburetor for Jaxon so he doesn't mess this up because he is 16 and he's very forgetful. But so with all that being said, Jackson's dad, Matt, was adamant about spending a little bit of money on this to give him some more power. He didn't want to go throw the whole checkbook at it. So this is a medium build, and from what I've ridden in the past, this is me, it has more torque, a little bit better pulling power in the mid-range, and then it really pulls hard on top end. Like I said, I haven't ridden 125 in a while, and it was fun for me to ride, although it doesn't look that way. Trust me, it's just I have to downshift more than I remember, right? So once I got the hang of it, it was fun. It's not for me, it's for Jaxon. We're gonna let him talk about what he thinks about it. But a couple things that I want to note as well. Race Tech, they do Jaxon stuff, and I like that they put a spring conversion fork. Not a big air fork guy either, so it's nice to have some of that front wheel traction that I need because I'm a front end steering guy. But overall, very fun build. If you guys look at this thing and look at the parts list, again, not a lot of mods. It's mostly just engine related, so Jaxon can get off the gate and put himself in a good position. When it comes to the amateur racing world, that's what matters, especially in the Schoolboy 1 class. And this is
5-lap motos as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So when you race this, you know you got to get a good start. So now that you rode this thing, how do you feel compared to other bikes that you built?
Yeah, so I would say there's definitely a lot more pulling power. The biggest thing I've felt is the bottom end. I've ridden a lot of stock 125s, built 125s. I've never ridden XPR built 125. So the biggest difference that I saw with this built 125 is the power through the corner. I've ridden a lot of 250s, and you do not have to shift as much on the 250. On the 125, you can carry that higher gear, where I'm used to having to run a lower gear through the corners. This one pulls all the way through the bottom, and then you can get that higher gear through the straightaways as well.
So basically what he's trying to say is most likely you probably can get third gear a little bit quicker.
Yep, exactly.
And that's kind of what I noticed. I let this second gear kind of eat and let it be really long, and then shift to third, let it kind of pull the top in more. But he's a little bit bigger fellow. He wants to short shift. This thing obliges that. So for me, very fun bike to ride. Now, you've been struggling with starts lately.
That's very true.
I wish I had a clip of him starting, but we don't have that. But
just show the one hole shot I got. Just that one.
If we can get a start on this. So now that you've ridden this,
yep.
How do we feel about getting a start?
But much more confident, yeah. I would say the biggest thing for me is getting my front tire over the gate off the start. And with that little bit quicker pulling power, my front tire is going to pop up a little bit more, and I'm strong enough. I'm 6'2". I'm 160 pounds. I can keep that front tire down. So as long as I can get that little pop off the gate, which is what this bike is going to give me, I get that front tire over the gate, I'm going to get much better drive, and this bike's going to run that higher gear all the way down, which is going to be huge for me, I think.
HGS, may not be familiar with that company. They're from the Netherlands. They do a lot of MXGP stuff. You see a lot of EMX stuff with HGS over in Europe. I've had a couple tests recently over on KeeferTesting.com. I did some of their muffler reviews, and it's very good stuff. The two-stroke dyno reads that Chad does at the shop says that HGS produces a lot of horsepower and, more importantly, more bottom end. That's what this KTM needs. It already revs out really good stock, but it needs a little bit more torque. So that complements what Chad did to the cylinder and the power valve. So overall, very fun build. Before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit about suspension. You said it's a little bit soft for you now. You gained 20 pounds in the past, but yep. How do you like having a spring fork?
Much, much better than the air fork. I would say when I rode this bike stock with the air fork, it was just a little more rigid. And I did not have I'm very big on having a good feel of the track. I could not feel the track very well, especially with the front end on the air fork. With the spring fork, I have so much more feel over the front end, as well as just overall loose, not as rigid on the bike, which has been huge for me.
I always preach to my kid how much time and effort I put into his racing, right, and spending money. You know how much your dad spends on you to do all this, right?
I do know. I'm very, very appreciative, very blessed to have what he's given me.
So, that being said, grades, chores, you can tell these kids out there watching this, that's an important piece to get your parents to do the right things for you, right?
Very, very important. I look at it as we're a team. So just because I can go out and ride a dirt bike fast doesn't mean I'm participating in the team. There's a lot of things that I got to do so that I'm ready on race day and so that I have good support and everyone's got a positive vibe at the track. I think that is huge. And if I can do anything to help, because everyone has helped me so much, whatever I can do, I'm up for it.
That is why I like Jaxon, and that's why I'm probably going to shed a tear right now, because it's very rare that you see a 16-year-old kid get it. I try to get that right into my kid's brain as well. He's 15, so having kids like Jaxon for Aiden to hang out with is very important. And as always, RacerXOnline.com for any information, backstories, garage builds, race reports, tests. We do it all. And, of course, 12 issues, 12 months, RacerX publication. That's right, print. Holy crap, we still do print. $30. You know what? You're a young generation. Do you like print magazines still?
You know, I still get the 12 issues every month. I have my Racer X, and that's what I love reading them. It's a great way to get off my phone.
It's a great way to go to the bathroom, too.
It's a great way to go to the bathroom.
See you guys.